And we are live on another edition of All In on NJIC football. But tonight, All In on NJIC football game of the week. What do we got going on tonight? Kurt Valenti, Jennifer Valenti.
Good evening. Tonight, our game of the week is St. Mary's at Woodridge. So we will be talking to Coach Carbone from Woodridge. He's going to bring in a few of his players. Even going to bring in a few people from the student section. We're going to talk to their fan section a little bit as well.
And that's the student section I've witnessed a couple of times being there live.
You've been on the coaching end of that. We were there last year, and we were just impressed with the turnout, how fired up they were. So we wanted to get them on and talk to them a little bit as
Let's get our first comment in, Mr. Kirkpatrick. Good evening, Jen and Kurt. What's up, Mr. Kirkpatrick? How are you?
Before we dive in, I do want to thank our sponsors. We are sponsored by Red's Restaurant and Beer Garden with 2 locations in Carlstadt and Newark. The Roosevelt with the location in East Rutherford. We're also sponsored by Lion Coffee out of Honolulu, Hawaii. Coach Carbone, I don't know if he knows it, but he's going to be the recipient of some coffee tonight. If he's a coffee drinker, we'll send some his way. Puppies and Tattoos, who sponsors our Bo's Top Dog segment, and also Villa Italia out of Lyndhurst. So thank you to our sponsors.
We got a Malvino checking in with us from YouTube. What's going on?
Thank you for watching.
So Jen, this is a big game.
Yep.
And listen, all the games have been big leading up to this, but now we're into conference play, right? We got the 2 teams that I would say going into the season were the favorites to win that division. Again, there's some other teams that are sitting there that don't forget about us. We're not forgetting about them.
Of course.
We're just going by what people would say.
Yeah.
St. Mary's 0-2, Woodridge 2-0. So listen, I'm excited to watch this game on Friday night. I am.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a good one for sure. We talked about St. Mary's with their 0-2 start, but it's not really indicative at all of the type of team that they are. And Woodridge with
cruising to 2 wins.
Coach Carbone with his first year at the helm there, guiding them to a 2-0 start, which is great. They're playing with a lot of confidence, right? They've offensively been producing, defensively
haven't given up anything. Yep.
Right. So it'll definitely be a good matchup for sure. I'm excited to see it. So without further ado, why don't we bring in our guests? I'll introduce them. Let's get them in first. Okay, give me a moment, everyone. All right. Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thank you for joining us. Let me get all of your guys in here as well.
Got a crew with us tonight coming.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
We love it. We love it. Thank you so much for making the time for us. All right. Hi, guys. How we doing?
Good.
All right, let me introduce, I do have, okay, there we go, everybody's camera's on there. Okay, allow me to formally introduce everybody. We're joined by Coach Carbone, who did join us on our preseason show as well. He's first-year head coach at Woodridge, off to a 2-0 start. He's joined by 2 of his players, senior Nick Scalera and junior Nick Mabel, and they're also each sharing their screen with one of the representatives from the student section, and they are Thomas and Lucas. So, guys, we're going to do Coach and the players first, and then Thomas and Lucas. We have some questions for you guys as well. So thank you again for joining us.
I'm just going to say this to Thomas and Lucas. Jen, what did I say? I said, Jen, go get me people from that Woodridge student section. I said, because they're a little nuts in that place. So I wanted to make sure in a good way. In a good way. And by the way, I love the touch with the American flag on the eve of 9/11. So very nice touch with the flag. I'm going to start. I can't say Nick because we have 2 Nicks. So I'm going to start with Nick Scalera first. Last year, St. Mary's kind of handled you guys pretty good. Has this game been circled since last year for you guys?
I wouldn't say it was like circled. We're taking it one game at a time, but obviously it's been on our mind a little bit.
All right, my question is to Nick M. St. Mary's is big and they're physical. So how do you guys plan to match up with that physicality?
We just got to play our hard-fought Woodridge way. 11 heads to the ball we play. We got a gang tackle, and the game's going to be mostly one up front, our big guys against their big guys, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Comment from our good friend Patrick. Aloha, coaches and young men. He's actually tuning in live from Hawaii. And Coach, you will be receiving some coffee from Patrick, because that's what he does. All our guests, the coaches, with the coffee. Some of the players are going to start wanting this
I know,
coffee.
right? We don't want to stunt anybody's growth.
Coach, I'm going to go to you. Even though, like Jen said, St. Mary's is 0-2, what challenges do they pose for you guys on Friday night?
They're very athletic. They're big up front. And listen, their 0-2 record doesn't indicate what kind of team they are. They're a very good team, and I think sometimes when teams are 0-2 and they're going into a big game, they still know they got a lot to play for. So, I wouldn't say that their season's kind of over. They still got a lot to play for, and I know that this game is a big one. They're definitely going to come out, and when your back's against the wall, you do things sometimes that are maybe out of the ordinary. So, I just keep telling the kids we got to be prepared for everything and just keep doing what we're doing, and our focus is on what we do. If we do what we do, and we do our jobs, I think we'll have ourselves a good football game on Friday night.
Nick S., I'm going to come back to you. Through the first 2 games, you guys have outscored opponents by a score of 89-0. Do you feel like your offense is like firing on all cylinders right now?
Yeah, I would say we're definitely clicking 100%. But we have made a couple mistakes. We're going to fix it up and just score more.
I'm going to go to the other Nick. How fired up are you guys going to be Friday night, St. Mary's, big league implications, and in front of your fans? Like, you guys got some of the student, the student center that's going to be there, right? So just how fired up are you guys going to be Friday night?
Yeah, we've been waiting for this game all week. In school, been waiting for practice, just waiting for game day on Friday, and especially to play in front of a big student section that's, very loud, and yeah, very fired up for this game.
What kind of atmosphere do you think it's going to be Friday night?
A lot of fans are going to be there. Student section is going to be bumping. It's going to be very loud and play.
Nice. That's what they're meant to do, right? Coach, I'm going to come back to you. It's always nice to have an experienced quarterback, right, leading your squad. So how nice is it to have Chris Rios directing your offense?
It's a great thing. I mean, obviously Chris is just a compliment to what all these guys have done all year. 2 games in, and that Chris is the leader, but also these other guys have done a really good job of contributing. The guys up front protecting him, and the guys around him making plays, the playmakers, and then having Chris kind of steer all that is really special. He's adapted it to a new offense, and he's already matched his stat line from last year. 6 touchdowns, he's got 6 on the year. I think a lot of people thought him on the ground, and he had 90 yards last week, but he's been doing it through the air, which has been, I think, the most impressive thing that people kind of forgot about. And it's nice when you put it all together and the kids execute. And Coach Larkin deserves a lot of credit. That's our offensive coordinator. He really studied the offense in the offseason. He was their position coach last year, stepped into a role and just excelled. And our entire coaching staff has done a really good job with these guys. So credit to all of them as well.
I'm going to go back to both of the boys. What does it mean to be a Woodridge football player? Go on, Nick Scalera first. Sorry.
Definitely has a lot of pride. You want to make your whole town proud. It's just a lot of emotions that go through it, and just proud,
Yeah, just like Nick said, you have to have a lot of pride being a Woodridge football player, and there's a lot on our back. Our town's coming out to watch us every Friday. And yeah,
I do got to say, I'm sorry, Jen. I do got to say, like, we've been to a couple of games, and that atmosphere is.
I was just gonna say we did a live pregame there last year, and the facility is beautiful.
Yep.
Right, your facility is gorgeous, and like you guys said, I do feel like your whole community is there. It's just such a nice thing, obviously the students and the people who are like stakeholders in the high school, but I do feel like it's a community event. It was just so nice to see. Thomas and Lucas, we're going to turn to you guys now. I feel like, Friday night football is like a North Jersey, or we can even say a New Jersey high school staple, right, with high school sports. And the Woodridge student section, we feel like, does its part to support the team. So thank you for joining us. And Kurt, what do you want to start with?
I'm going to start with Thomas. What makes this student, because like I said, from being there, I don't know. I kind of feel like there's not many schools that like match what you guys do in that stand. So what makes this student section different from a lot of other towns?
I think the smaller the community, the bigger the heart. And we have a big heart here at Woodridge. So everyone loves each other.
I'm going to go to Lucas. What kind of atmosphere do you guys hope to create when you guys are in the stands on a Friday night?
An absolutely electric one. We want to get the boys fired up so they play even better. And it's been working, honestly. These past 2 weeks, we've absolutely dominated. So I'm excited.
I'm going to ask both of you guys. I'll start with Lucas first. Can you talk about the Woodridge family, right? Like in the school, not students together as a school, but the community also. The Woodridge family term that we hear a lot.
There's just a lot of all around support for everybody and everything you do. Sports, soccer, football, volleyball. We all support each other, and that's big in a community, especially one as small as ours. So it's definitely key.
Thomas, what do you want to add to that?
Everyone in the hallways, they're all talking about this game. Everyone's pumped, and that's what it shows me, this community, Everyone, it's big community, big heart.
And I'm going to ask both of you this as well. Thomas, I'll start with you. Walk us through from a student perspective, what it's like on a football Friday in school, after school, and then up to right, before the game and game time.
It's great. The Friday, the players, they have their jerseys on and the jeans, the equipment. It's great. Everyone's everyone's wishing them good luck. Everyone's together those days. Everyone's just big together those days.
How about you, Lucas? Anything to add about the game day environment leading up to the game?
Yeah, obviously the vibes are high in school. Everyone's pumped up. Everyone's excited to go watch the boys play. And then as the game time gets closer and closer, the energy level rises and rises. And then once it kicks off, everyone just goes nuts, and it's awesome to see.
Is there a theme this week?
Yeah, USA.
I figured.
That's
just wanted to make it official.
Yeah.
We got questions for the audience. I'm going to
awesome.
give this one to Coach. It's from Stephen Armstrong. How would you describe the team culture and its core values, Coach?
I think our team culture is just built on what it's player based. So it's player led, player based. I mean, obviously, like I said, our coaching staff has come in and done a great job of delivering the right messages, putting them in the right positions to be successful, teaching them the right things, both on and off the field. And I think our kids have done a really good job of carrying that. I actually talked to them at the end of the day at practice today and told them how, a lot of people have been commenting on how the team is so tight knit this year. And, really cool. The JV guys played the other day and they did a hype up thing. They had them run out on the field. That was the varsity guys. When you're getting that buy-in from top to bottom, that's a really, that's a good thing for the future of your program. Some of the core values we just base things on is, day by day, we're gonna work hard. We're gonna do the little things and paying attention to the fine detail of things, because I think sometimes, that gets lost in high school football. Just very little things that can get overlooked. The fine details, doing your job, not worrying about what the person next to you is doing your job first, and having each other's back. Those are the things we gotta value. And then just we don't want to let anyone ever outwork us. That's kind of the main goal that we push. We don't want people outworking us, teams outworking us. Our coaches sometimes will run in practice just to get the kids excited. So just things like that, little things. But I think our culture is really good, and that's a testament to our kids. And then these guys right here on the screen, two of them that drive home that point all the time. So
Malvino from YouTube is saying best coach ever is commenting in. So
that's high. That's very high praise. I don't know about all that.
Hey,
I'll take it.
Exactly. Coach and Nick and Thomas and Lucas, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We truly appreciate your time. Best of luck on Friday night to you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Good luck, Friday,
Thank you
guys.
so much.
Pleasure. Our pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, and there we have our Coach Carbone and some of the Woodridge players and the some
Yeah.
of the Woodridge student section, which was
What
awesome.
did I say to you, Jen? I said, we got to get them. I
Yeah.
said, we got to get them because you know what? That atmosphere is good. I think I saw them. It was actually the first live. You didn't do it. I think
Mhm.
I did it.
I did. I had
And
my
I was
shoulder
just, you had the
injury.
shoulder,
Yep.
and I was
I
just
was
like,
home
wow, this place is
working.
crazy.
Yeah.
And then we were actually there for the St. Mary's
last year.
game
Yeah.
last year. And it was just, that atmosphere is great. And listen, that place is going to be rocking on Friday night. I can't wait to watch that game.
Definitely. Well, why don't we have you break down Woodridge a little bit for us?
Steven saying to our coach, good stuff. Tell Coach Rob Canizaro what's up. Fellow Red Hawk. So I guess he played with Steve.
Montclair, is that Red
Yes.
Hawks? Okay.
Yes.
All right, well, let's move into you. I'm just going to throw up our game stat here so people may be tuning in a little late know what we're talking about. Game of the week, St. Mary's at Woodridge. Go ahead and break down Woodridge for us a little bit.
Yeah, listen, athletes all over the place. Like Coach just mentioned, obviously, like he said, it starts with Chris Rios at quarterback. And again, by the way, there's our good friend Kip Michael saying, Coach Carbone, my guy. So he
Lots of
texted me.
praise,
He
lots of praise.
texted
Love
me
it.
the night after we did the
Opening
preview show,
yeah.
and he's like, "When you getting Coach Carbone?" I said, "We had him on already. Go out and watch." I said, "Go back and watch it. Come on, we had
And here we
Woodridge.
go. Now we had him twice for you.
We had him." And so listen, they're you know, he mentioned about Rios. Obviously, everybody knows with his legs, but now he's doing it in the
Like
pass
with
game.
his arm.
You know, it's nice to have like Nick Scalera too, like there, and they got tons of weapons out there. Their running game is great. They're good. You know what I'm saying? They're good. I think they want to kind of, I don't want to use the word spread you. It's not like that, like single back, like get their athletes in space. And, you know, again, like just like almost like Heights last week, where we said to those guys, listen, that puts a lot on the defense when it's, you know, you're spread out and you have to make one-on-one tackles. And these kids from, you know, Woodridge are very electric, very elusive. But I also like what the other Nick was saying when he said, we have to be physical. Right, because it matched the physicality. Yeah. It's not just, you know, you just don't line up and say we're going to throw the ball all over the yard, and you know you better block. Like this team, St. Mary's is going to be coming in. They got athletes. They got a great front. They got a nice defense. They're going to be, you know, they're going to be playing defense this week. You got to be able to match their physicality, be able to run the ball. You have to be able to, you know, again, and this is going to be my key. You know, you're not going to get 41-0 this week. This is going to be, you're going to be in for a long fight in this game. And you know, so it's going to be a little different, but hey, listen, football is still football, but it's going to be offensively. That's what they have to do. Defensively, Jen, they have to stop the run, right? You know what St. Mary's is going to do. They're big. They're going to come out. They're going to want to run the ball.
Well, let's get to your keys of the game for Woodridge. Okay. Your first key of the game, you might have to click on it for me there on your end there. Here
you got it.
Okay. Is, as you, you know, alluded to before, it's not going to be so lopsided this weekend, right? So be ready for a 4-quarter battle.
Right. Be ready for it. Listen, again, it's not that was nice doing that the first 2 weeks, but now not only is St. Mary's a talented team, they're a hungry team. They're coming in 0-2. Again, they were probably, you know, 2 or 3 plays away from being 2-0 also.
Yep.
So be ready for a 4th-quarter battle. Don't worry. Hey, if you look up at the scoreboard and it's 7-0, that's fine. That's because that's what it's going to be in these close games. You know, you can't look in, it's not 21-0. A lot of times you look like, and listen, I did that sometimes too. Like you're like, oh my God, like we're not up 28-0. Like, no, it's not going to work like that. Play it for a 4-quarter game. You know, you get down, You're only up by 7. That's fine. So that's key number 1.
Your second key to victory for Woodridge is to limit St. Mary on first down.
Yeah, when St. Mary's is at their best this year, and again, we saw them versus Heights, and we were there at Heights, but we watched the game versus Verona, is when they're getting their 7 and 8 yards, now it's dangerous because now, hey, you can take that chance. You can go and say, hey, here, let's go for a big play action pass. If we don't get it, we still have 2 downs to get 2 yards. That's what St. Mary's wants to do, right? So limit on first down. If you get St. Mary's into 2nd and 8, 2nd and 7s, okay, listen, they still may run the ball, but I'm saying now it's, you know, in that play call, it's, hey, you know, now we're behind the chains. Now it's a 2nd and 9 for us. You know, that's different than 2nd and 2 where you could call anything on your play sheet.
And your last key to victory for Woodridge this Friday is to give Rios time to do his thing.
Yeah, listen, we know how good he is, right? Like Coach was saying, and obviously, they're going to have a package where he's in their run game, but just like Coach is saying, he's developing into a real good passer. He's got weapons all over the field. Listen, if you give him time, right? Again, listen, St. Mary's is going to come with pressure. Their front is good, so what they're going to try to do. Protect him, give him time, let him be able to do his stuff with the feet. But when he has the chance to hit the big plays down the field, he's got to hit it. But he also needs time to be able to hit that.
All right, so there we have the breakdown of Woodridge and Kurt's keys to the game for them to be successful on Friday night. Let's move on to St. Mary's. Let's start with a little breakdown of what you foresee St. Mary's.
Again, Jen, they have to be one of the better 0-2 teams around. Again, they were goal line stand away from beating Verona, and week 2, had a 2-score lead against Heights. They needed a hook and a lateral, and get credit to Heights. Like we said, they're a tremendous team too. To beat them. Again, they're big, they're physical. I think they're best when they run the ball. Okay, run the ball, play action off of that. They have a quarterback that is very mobile, that can do, again, just like we said, Rios can do both. Messina can do both also. You've seen it with his legs. They have a great big-time player in Hortez. So, again, he has to be stopped on the Woodridge side. He can go to distance on any play. Their defense has played very well in spurts. Their issue has been, and we'll get that to a key, they haven't finished, right? They haven't finished in the red zone. A lot of times they're in there and, they're stopped inside the 20, inside the 10. You leave a lot of points on the field. They are moving the ball up and down the field.
Let's get to the St. Mary's Kurt's keys to victory there. So let's start with number 1. Don't get into a high-scoring game with Woodridge.
Yeah, listen. Again, Woodridge they want to play like that a little bit. They've been playing like that, and I don't want to use I don't want to say the words. They're a lot better athletically than the St. Mary's, because St. Mary's has the athletes too, but I just think it's a different style. I think St. Mary's is just better. They're bigger if they play behind their strength. Their strength is running the ball, right? They got the transfer kid in from Belleville. They use Hortez back and forth. You have Messina. So use that big offensive line, run the clock. Hey, anytime you can keep Rios and that group off the field, it's a success, right? I mean, listen, they can't score if they don't have the ball, right?
We watched them do just that against Heights. I mean, in the first quarter, I believe they possessed the ball. I want to say 12 minutes.
I want to say 10 of 12 minutes.
Yeah.
Heights had, I think, 6 plays in Heights.
Yeah.
Had 6 plays in the first quarter. Problem is they didn't finish, but listen, you're worried about Rios. You don't want to give him that group the ball. Keep him on the sideline. What's your best friend? Running the ball, use your offensive line. That's key number 1.
And key number 2 for you to St. Mary's keys to victory is take away Rios in the run game.
Yeah, you have to do one, right? You can't just go. If you let a team run it, if you let, especially a kid like Rios, if he's going to be able to do whatever he wants with his legs, and now he's in the run game, now you got to move people up. Now you got to worry about him. Now here comes the play action. Here comes all your pass game. Here comes your rollout. Woodridge does a great job of rolling the pocket, getting him outside where it's a run pass option for, run pass option for him on the outside. Take one of that away. Focus and say, listen, when you're not doing the quarterback run game, okay, and now beat us through the air. Can he still do it? Yes, he can still do it. He's that good. But I'm saying if you just go and say, hey, Woodridge, you can just call whatever you want. You're not going to stop this team. So stop him in their run game. Stop the run game total, but especially him, all right, and make them as much one-dimensional as you can.
And your third key to victory for St. Mary's is to finish their drive with 6.
Yeah, listen, talking to Coach Johnson too, like that's what he has to focus on. Listen, they left points in Verona. They lost by 4. We were there, like I said, we saw them at least 2 possessions, and we didn't even stay for the whole second half. And we saw them twice in the red zone, no points. Any points like that, you're 2-0. It's one thing when your offense is outside the red zone, and then when you get in the red zone, you got to be a little different. Again, not that you have to run different plays, but you just have to have that different mentality from up front, all the positions. But again, I think they can work on that. but that's my key.
All
I'll
right.
go up and down the field, but when you guys get in the red zone, put up points.
All right. Well, on last night's show, we saved our picks for the game of the week, right? So we had our guest picker, we had Kenny with their picks. So their picks for the game of the week, I have the wrong sheet out here, was Kenny went with St. Mary's, and our guest picker, Doug Palsy and his son Dean, they picked Woodridge. So we're going to get with our picks right now. This is a tough one. I'm not going to lie. Like you said, two very different teams. I feel like St. Mary's, we talked about their first two opponents and how those games could have gone either way. And I feel like those are tough lessons that they're learning that are so valuable. And I know Coach Johnson is going to practice and fixing those things, right? And the thing is, can they come out on Friday night and do those things, capitalize on that possession time and come up with, like you said in one of your goals,
Yep.
6 points, put some points on the board there. So are they able to make those adjustments and turn it into a win? You mentioned Huertas, Messina. They have Williams, who's that transfer from Belleville you were talking about at the running back position. The size and the physicality we keep talking about on their line. But on the flip side, we talked to Coach about having that experienced quarterback.
Yep.
I mean, you can't say enough about having a kid return to the season with the experience and the knowledge and the skill that Chris Rios has. And it seems like his game has grown even more. And defensively, I feel like we didn't give enough credit to what their defense is doing. Michael Prado has 16 tackles and 3 sacks
every
so far.
week. Every week.
There's a lot going on. They've got some other kids who also have tallied 2 sacks so far. Eric Hayes and Melvin Zabetta. Forgive me if I'm mispronouncing games. But I'm giving the edge to St. Mary's here because I think that their opponents and what they've done, they've seen some adversity already, and I think that they are going to be able to use that. It's a tough one for me. It can go either way. And it's always so hard to pick. It's always so hard to pick.
It is.
We love all of our guests and our coaches and our players, but I'm going to go St. Mary's in a very, very close one that could go either way.
I hope Weehawken and Bogota aren't listening to this, but I think the winner of this game is going to win this division. I do. I think I think they're the two best teams. I think everyone was right when they said it was going to be these two. Again, I think those teams are going to have a lot to say. And I think Woodridge has tons of going for them. I think the one thing we haven't mentioned, and I asked Nick Scalera first. St. Mary's went in there last year and handed it to him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, big crowd, just like it's going to be, and St. Mary's took it to him, and that was like off, early and often, and they put it on them. So, listen, that's an advantage to Woodridge because that in their mind is payback.
Yeah.
And not many times is it, okay, that happened in our building last year, now we got to go there. No, it's back in your building.
Right.
And being in that building and that atmosphere with that student section, that student center, that's a big advantage. As much as, people don't realize, it's only a high school. How much does a crowd matter? A crowd matters a lot. It's going to be loud. You got to communicate, especially when St. Mary's is on offense, you have to communicate, and up front has to communicate. So that's a big advantage. I think St. Mary's being 0-2, how can I say this? This game means, again, we're saying the winner of this game is going to win the division, right?
Well,
so it matters for.
I'm not going to say I'm saying that. You're
right,
saying
but
that.
we're talking about that. So this game matters.
It is.
Both.
It could possibly be for a deciding factor at the first game.
The thing is, St. Mary's is desperate, right? They can't go to 0-3. I mean, if they go to 0-3, pretty much it's going to, eliminate them from the division. That's going to be hard to come back from those kids. Okay. This is tough. This is tough. You mentioned all the kids on both sides, right? The athletes on both of these sides, you got stud kids all over the place. You got physicality on both offensive lines. I think the one advantage that St. Mary's is going to have is they've played 2 4-quarter games. It's very hard We talked about this. There's our good friend Jack Rizzo.
Oh, Jack!
Hey, y'all. Hope you're enjoying your fall. How about them Indiana Hoosiers? Because he's in Indiana.
I hope you're doing well.
2-0
Jack.
Indiana Hoosiers.
Thank you for tuning in. We miss you, and we're wishing you the best.
And we got to get you on
For
soon,
those
Jack.
Jack did some producing for us behind the scenes last year, did a great job.
Behind the
with
scenes, he
this.
was on the
Well,
scenes.
true, on the started
You did
behind the
both.
scenes. Yeah, did both exactly. And Jack and Eli were a staple for us last year. So thanks for checking in, Jack. So good to hear from you.
You know, it's very hard, Jen, especially like in football, where it's, you know, sometimes it could work against you, right? They blow a team out. You can't really, you don't want to run up the score, take out the starters. You don't want to, you know, that's hard now all of a sudden to say, hey, you got to go do this Friday night. And that team did it twice already. You know, I think this game is going to have ups and downs. I think it's going to be, hey, momentum Woodridge, St. Mary's gets the, I think it's just going to be up and down, up and down. I'm going to go with the more desperate team. I think St. Mary's wears them out. And I think that I'm going to say this. I think St. Mary's has one way to win this game. They have to wear them out. If they want to play an up tempo and Woodridge wins the game. But if St. Mary says, listen, we're lining up and we're running it 30, 35 times at you, I'm going to give St. Mary's a slight advantage. So I think it all matters how this game plays out. Now, if Woodridge can get up 14-0 and make St. Mary's get out of that and say, hey, play catch up, I think Woodridge wins the game. But I'm going to take physicality. I think the desperation that 0-3. I'll be honest, if they were 1-1, I might have picked Woodridge. But I think that 0-2, a little more desperation. I think St. Mary's wins this in the close. This is going to be a great game, but I'm going to take St. Mary's for the record.
It is going to be.
I hope Woodridge don't hate us now.
Again, it was a hard one for us to pick.
By the way,
It
can I
really
just give one prompt? Can I just give something? In Woodridge, my favorite bakery now, Mills Bakery.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
we
God.
should have asked them about Mills Bakery.
Yeah. How good?
not?
How good is that? I get the.
Yeah.
I've
I
been
don't
getting the
like
chocolate.
to eat the sweets that you bring home, but what did I say about the donuts?
They're the best donuts you've ever had.
They are. I'm not even lying. I'm not
Chocolate
even
frosted.
exaggerating. Yeah.
I'll go Saturday morning. I'll get some for the weekend.
But we want to thank Coach Carbone and Nick and Thomas and Lucas for joining us tonight. I want to thank everyone for watching. Please tune in Tuesdays for our regularly scheduled All In on NJIC football, where we cover the whole conference, and then Wednesday evenings when we do pick a game of the week.
I'm also going to do it. We may not be live, like doing it like on air, but we will have a scoreboard Friday and Saturdays. Yeah, so I'll get that up and running.
So
we did it a little bit.
All the NJIC scores available as well. So good luck to everybody playing. Good luck to St. Mary's and Woodridge as well, our game of the week participants. And we'll see you all next week.